There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from getting up out of the club. Qualified people who willing to sell. Blessing our time and our efforts are rest. The brothers giving us the end of promise from them. The welcome my life without again.
A lyrical health.
Master.
Play body so make you I can't Sktv venue. Say my journey, Tina get I say my yamu. And yes I know money, and more I go. And you love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I don't get it now ya to money. That's the baby, and I don't get it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from getting up out of the club. Qualified people who willing to sell. The blessing our time and our efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving are real and I promise my best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside, River G to Chile, from Penku, Bombay, Cape Town, Montserrat, San to Bacoloo, from Maryland, Bonk to Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from getting up out of the club. Qualified people who willing to sell. Blessing our time and our efforts are rest. The brothers giving us the end of promise from them. The welcome my life without again.
A lyrical health.
Master.
Play body so make you I can't Sktv venue. Say my journey, Tina get I say my yamu. And yes I know money, and more I go. And you love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I don't get it now ya to money. That's the baby, and I don't get it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from getting up out of the club. Qualified people who willing to sell. The blessing our time and our efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving are real and I promise my best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandpa to Nima to Lufa, from River Sass, River G to Chide, from Penku, Bombay, Cape Mount, Monserrat, San to Bakulu, from Maryland, Bonkan to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Foreign people who waiting to sell. Blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The brothers giving us here and the parents from there. So welcome my life with Africa.
I live for health.
Master.
Play Paris, who make you again Sktv menu. Say my journey, Tina get as a man, and he's a no money, and Muaye, and he love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Monserrat, Lofa, and Grandbaza.
And I dine ya tumale, and a salia ya tumale, and a quanagli ya tumale, and a quadubwa ya tumale, and a dine ya tumale, and a salia ya tumale, and a quanagli ya tumale, and a quadubwa ya tumale, and a pagayarina ya tumale, and a tiki, and a pagayarina, tosi waka maya tumale.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Monserrat, Lofa, and Grandbaza.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Foreign people who waiting to sell. The flesh, that time and the efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving a real and the promise my best. The work with my life with Africa. From Grandpa to Nima to Lufa, from River Sass, River G to Chide, from Penku, Bombay, Cape Mount, Monserrat, San to Bakulu, from Maryland, Bonkan to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Foreign people who waiting to sell. Blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The brothers giving us here and the parents from there. So welcome my life with Africa.
I live for health.
Master.
Play Paris, who make you again Sktv menu. Say my journey, Tina get as a man, and he's a no money, and Muaye, and he love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Monserrat, Lofa, and Grandbaza.
And I dine ya tumale, and a salia ya tumale, ena Conakry ya tumale, ena Cote d'Ivoire ya tumale, ena Guinea ya tumale, ena Somalia ya tumale, ena Conakry ya tumale, ena Cote d'Ivoire ya tumale, ena Liberia ya tumale, Sktv-Lib, ena Liberia, tosi wako ma ya tumale,
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must survive the local and grandmaster.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcasts and connecting people and culture from getting up out of the club. Qualified people who waiting to sell. The flesh, the time, and the efforts are rare. The broadcast we giving are real and I promise my best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside to Raji to Chide, from Grand Crew, Bombing, Cape Mount, Montserrat, to San to Bacalu, from Maryland, Bonk to the Maggie B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
Well, indeed, sorry. Yes, indeed, but again, I want to say Sktv is the best in Liberia, and so yeah, man, yeah, Monk is that easy to, especially when you are somewhere, where you've been back-to-back meetings and so forth. But again, good evening, folks. No matter what happened, we are grateful, and we are. I wanted to talk like the other guy who, one person was interviewed, I think, sometime ago. And because of that person today, Liberia now have PhD. Will be offering PhD. Because, some people, by the time they talk, any word that comes from their mouth is all about, the baby word that people can't even understand. So, Mom shared a video with me. He said, I think it's because of this person that the government of Liberia, through the President Joseph Yuman Boaka, finally agreed that PhD should be offered in Liberia. Because, sometimes when we say these things, some of you get angry. What thing I was saying? Look, when you are communicating with people, you communicate with everyone across the what? Across. Because you know why? The reason why you are making things easy and putting things into the easier and common understanding is because why? You have so many people following you, listening to you. Some of these people are learning English. Some people, they can't understand English well. They're fighting hard to understand. Then you put somebody in BB. So, Mark, you said because of that guy. And Mark gets serious. But anyway, folks, good evening, and let me welcome you to the Sktv show. And there's so many things happening in this small country that is right in West Africa. Oh, someone will say, oh, but not cool. Good evening. Let me recognize a few of you more will be joining me very soon. And thanks to all of you. Please share the show. The belated birthday coin, G. Coin Jones Smith. Let me say good evening to you, my brother and friend Joseph Bernard. Good evening. Asata O. Dustin. Good evening to you, my beautiful sister Aliu Masale. Yes, indeed. We have a very, very fruitful conversation. Aliu, let me say good evening to you, my brother. Liberia is all we have. We got to disagree to agree. At the end of the day, your hair mark on this country will speak volume. And now how many times you talk. Some of us will talk, but we have no mark. When you talk and you have nothing to show, even when you die, they say, they be giving an example to people. So, Prisoner Monk, you have to make it and come on. So, again, Prisoner Monk also, he said, like, comment, and share is right. Please share the show. Today, we're going straight into what? all of the hauling and pulling of our lower horse. As to what's going to happen next, if this continue up to this week and up to next week, because mind you, that some of you already have your own side, some of you already have your own way of thinking. You are already, some of you are already making your own observation, understand some of these things. So again, share the show. Who they? Okay, so Philip Cartel, let me say indeed, good evening. James David, good evening to you. And the chairman and chairman, Morris Momodu Dugle Jr., good evening to you. Yes, indeed, he's one of, in fact, he's one of the good friends and brother of Liberia. No, let me tell some of you, when you are talking about Liberia politics, don't only talk, make impact. So, Chairman Morris Momodu Dugle, you know that I don't even know. All of the young guys, every time when they're, oh, maybe you know chairman. Also, every time I talk about chairman, they go, won't be chairman. They say, oh, Morris Momodu Ducle Jr. I say, well, I can't tell them the chairman, the men are chairman. Anyway, that's it. So, Momodu Morris Ducle, Chairman Ducle, indeed, again, let me say good evening to you. Oh, okay, Monk is here. Yeah, Monk is here. Sorry, Monk, yeah. Sorry, my brother. Good evening, Monk. I guess my issue when you already. Monk, you are. Oh, Monk escape. What going on? Let me put my Monk. Yeah, Monk, what's up?
Hello?
Yes, I'm getting you. Go ahead.
What's up? What's up to the listening audience from Sktv, Liberia, USA, and the rest of the world? What's going on, guys? Another day to be alive, and we are trying to cover ground for the rest of the show, as always. Yeah, Mabel, are you there? Well, I think Mabel is out temporarily. Guess he's
Yes,
going to be back.
yes,
Can you hear me?
I'm trying. Yes, I'm getting you, Monk. Thank you for joining us, even though you went for some kind of a break. And that break, I got to ask you socially as to how was that break. Because there are some break when you go for Monk. Sometimes you want to remain there for a certain time. There are some break when you go for, you will be thinking, I think I may go back to work. So how was the break?
Man, my little mini break was okay. I had fun. I had a blast. I just want to get away a little bit, de-stress,
Okay.
and the classical just made my break. It was great for the weekend. On Saturday, I think most people watch the game. Barcelona and Real Madrid, and I mean, I think Barcelona made a statement in that game, but it was great. Overall, the weekend was great. Thank God for everything. It was okay,
Yes,
and we are
no, I
back to
like
do
that.
we are back to do the labyrinth people business. Even though our
Yeah.
lawmakers are not playing their fair share, but SKTV will make sure we cover ground and we play our part when it comes to informing our people, entertaining, educating, which angle you see it from. At the end of the day, that's what the show is all about. And that's what we're about to do for the
A
next two
wonderful,
hours.
Mark. Let me join you also to say thank you for going for that break. And indeed, let me tell some of you who don't easily social or you don't have some social interactions or you don't socialize. Let me tell you, it's wrong. Sometimes you take a little break to be, to socialize. Mark, am I correct?
You're
Because
right. You can't take
Mark,
life
if
too
you not give
seriously.
your lifetime to even enjoy or to marry make,
Yeah.
that means something wrong somewhere.
It's part of your mental health, man. It's part of the routine, man. You can stress out and be happy. Look, life will go on no matter what. While you are living, they got some people that will be dying today. They got some people that are in the hospital today. They got some people that don't have food today. They got some people that got surplus. Look, at the end of the day, no matter how you interpret life, life will still go on. And just because things is not happening for you, it does not mean it's not happening for someone else. It will still go on. So at the end of the day, my brother, when you get some time in the day, some spare time, and take care of yourself, make sure you are stable mentally and just live life and just embrace what you have while you work towards something that you want to get or other things or any bigger aspiration or dream that you have. But at the end of the day, you must live every day because the littlest thing that you take for granted, at the end of the day, they will be the one that matter the most. So enjoy it while you live. Whether you get the sunshine, taking a stroll in the park, eating your favorite meal, look, those are things that you can enjoy in a whole different way. You don't have to be the richest person in the world to live a life. I mean, you can just take it one day at a time and just enjoy it. That's it.
Yes, because Mark, this other one is about sometimes we are too serious in this life. Mark, sometimes like the Bible says, we come with nothing and we leave with nothing. But every time we see ourselves so serious, so busy, in fact, even to even have some social interaction sometimes with our spouse or our wives, our fiancé or so on, we are just so busy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing to be busy. You got a goal that you want to accomplish. I believe in living a balanced life. You cannot have too much or one thing. Even the food that you eat. But when you read about nutrition and you read about any aspect of life, the thing is you want to have a balanced life. Take for example, right? You eat rice. Rice will give you carbohydrate, right? It's a form of
Mhm.
energy as well. But in as much as you need energy for your body, you can just not eat too much of it. You have to eat other stuff that will give you protein. And that's just how life is. While you are working towards your goal, when you read it, the late Steve Jobs, the founder of the Apple computer, one of the richest men that ever lived in terms of his net worth, he was a multi-billionaire. At the end of the day, he wrote a letter telling people how to live their life, that if he were given a chance to live again, he would live a life differently because he spent his entire life just making the product, Apple computer, the iPhone, and this and that. That he neglected other aspect of his life, and he only came to that realization on his dying bed. That he like, I don't know, maybe one day we'll read the content so people can get to listen to it. And when you listen to that letter, you will see life from a different perspective. Look, I want for people to work towards their goal. I want for people to be successful in life. But at the end of the day, make sure you have a balanced life, whether it's with family, whether it's with friends, whether it's married making and socializing and traveling. Look, you can do other things. Just make sure that your life is balanced because too much of one thing, it become problem on the other side. Like you said, he spent his entire life beyond this company, and at the end of the day, he's on his dying bed. He regretted that decision. If he were given a chance again, he would have lived a life different way in balancing rather than just. Can you imagine? You wake up from bed in the morning, you are so obsessed with the corporation or the company becoming your success, and he succeeded. But at the end of the day, you succeeded at what expense or at who expense? That's where the problem came because you gave too much. That whether it was about family, whether it's about your wife and your relationship, whether it was a friend, like he just focused everything into Apple and he realized that was not the best way to live. But he only got to know late when he was on his dying bed and he wrote that letter. Maybe we'll have time one day we'll read on the show just to start the
Yeah.
show, but I'm okay.
One thing I really admire of you is that when it comes to social interaction, social belief, and social life, you are one person who really go in deep and you understand some of these social things. Because my brother, like what you said, there are a lot of us today who found ourselves even into so many situations with the little thing that we do. No break, no time. Even to the extent that even some of our women, they go home, no time even for their men. All they do at home, they play, they and the children, they talk, they do this, they are so busy until
Mhm.
no time.
You know, when I came to Africa recently, I was telling my homeboy, like, when we're back there, I said some of the things we don't appreciate. You get to appreciate them later. You come to this country, it's all about work. You got school, you got career goals, and it's such an industrialized country. You want to work as twice as hard just to get ahead, just to make sure you can pay the bill. I said, bro, since I left the continent, and you see people in the street just having fun time. You go to the video club to go and watch the game, like the euphoria. You don't look. My brother, social interaction is not something you can neglect. It's part of life. And I said, bro, we are looking for money in the Western world, but the people in Africa, trust me, they got a life. I mean, in the sense that they interact with each other. You can see that vibe, that personal connection. Yeah, we don't have that opportunity. Maybe you go on a vacation, but when you go on a vacation, you're going with maybe your wife, your spouse, or somebody. Okay, we go to these weddings and maybe sometimes we go to baby shower, but these things are just temporary. I'm talking about on a day-to-day basis, where you can come home in the evening, you go sit down to a little entertainment center, you eating your leg, a checker, your fried fish, you laughing, you're drinking for people who can drink, and you're watching your game, people screaming. Look, at the end of the day, these things it play a major role when it comes to your emotional health as well. And we don't have those leverages yet. Even though we can live life, yeah, we got other things that we can enjoy here, but trust me, It's a whole different thing in Africa. They don't have the cash, but they still find a way to enjoy life in a way that we cannot here, and that's just the reality.
Yeah, and more, you just a little more, please. Those for our little connection. Let me tell you, Mark, you know, you just knew it. Back home, sometimes when you do this, people say, oh, you're not serious. Yeah. Mark just say it. And it don't mean that we are not serious, but sometimes to take the stress, to take life like, in fact, you want to do everything until judgment day. No, because one thing about life, like Mark said, you have limited time. And the time you have is between your youth age to the time you get old. So between that time, if you don't make good use of your time, sometimes you may see yourself like, oh, what am I living on this life? So Mark, I side with you and I agree with you today ongoing. For what some of you who listen to us, please give little time, give little space for your relationship or for yourself. Go out there and chill. Go out there to make yourself happy.
No, why they need to understand? We are not saying you can just go out there and be partying all day. No, we are just saying find a way to have a balanced life. Look, even in the Bible, when you read the Bible in the book of Luke, I think it was Christ that asked the question. He said, who by any means, just by worrying, going to add a single day to your life? No, there will be problems, there will be challenges. That's just how life is. That's what life is all about. Life was never meant to be easy. Life will be throwing curveballs at you every day. You will have problems, and that's just how you will keep living until you die. My thing here is what in the process find the brighter side of life and try to balance it so it cannot be one-sided. I'm not saying you should come from work every day, go drink, go to some entertainment center, go play soccer all day. I'm just saying, while you are pursuing other bigger goals in life, try to find a way to balance your life so you can have that little bit of, here and there. It cannot just be one side and you just worrying and you just thinking. Look, we suffer more in imagination than reality. Some of the things we worry about that they don't even come to reality. So I don't know why you will keep worrying. All you can do when something is bigger than you, just leave it to a higher power than you. Whether you can pray, whether you can go to church, whether you can go to a synagogue or a mosque, just leave it to a higher power and just do your part. That's just what life is. It's not too complicated, bro. Find a way to smile.
Also, before we even transition, like for example, sometimes people will say, okay, I have to graduate. Like most of our maybe young people, the females and the males, or especially the females, so they will say they had to graduate, they had to have their degree, they had to have their master. And the thing about this monk is that you are not controlling your own life. You are not controlling the time. So
nothing you control.
So sometimes when you follow the internet, you will see, hey man, they get too young to die, or this point too young to die. See?
They got 7 months of baby then dying or in hospital, 7 days. We're talking about they get too young to die. At least you are able to reach your 20, you should be happy. Shit. They got people that are dying just weeks after their breath.
Some of us more we will survive even trying to make life to have our partner and start living our life. We say no, until I get all of the degrees, all of the career I want, until I get better. The waste of time. You are not in control of your own life. You have no control of what you're doing. Only God in heaven that control your life and time.
No, maybe you got to make things explicit. So to some extent, you got to control your life as to how you can respond to life. The only thing is you cannot detect things that are out of your control, like events or circumstances. You have no control over that, but you can control. You got some limit of control as to how you will respond to situation. That's why they say life is all about making an adjustment. You can come with all the fancy plan. You can come with all your rules and the way you understand life. But at the end of the day, the reality comes. You don't have control over the reality. Take, for example, when some of us are going to, oh, man, we want to graduate from college and get a better career and marry this dream girl, have a family. At the end of the day, maybe you graduate from college, you couldn't get a job. The year you thought you could get married, you can't get married. You can't even get your first opportunity. Some people say, oh, I won't have all my children. But this woman, at the end of the day, you end up having kids out of well luck. It happens. Life throws situation. Like I said, the only thing you can do that is within your control is how you respond to life. But you cannot detect what will happen to you. It's out of your control. That's what makes life complicated. But let's transition, maybe. Our people are ready for the news today.
Thank you so much. We will do that maybe on Wednesday, by God's grace, when we come on the in fact. Thank you so much, Mark. But let's move on now to politics. And this long weekend was very, very busy, and so many things happened. Throughout the time we listened to Representative Yeka Kaluba from district number 10, and so many things happen. Even on today, we also listen to Representative Honorable Musa Hassan Benite from district number 7, Nima County, also speaking on a wide range of issues, especially when it comes to the speakership or the speaker removal wahala that are still dragging in the corner. And the anti-COFA bloc, they are also saying that hopefully on tomorrow they're going to have their own session and debate the letter coming from the Supreme Court. And so many things been happening. But tell us, what are some of the things that caught your attention before we move into our discussion for today, like you said in your message?
Well, a lot of things happening, especially I'm like the few days, I'm not following international politics because I know people trying to gain influence in the US election, whether it's about hacking of the presidential candidate's cell phone, whether it's about Iranian hackers, whether it's Chinese hackers. A lot of things happening, but I know the moment we cross the election cycle, things will settle down. I'm not 100% sure as to how it will settle down, but I know it will be less tense as opposed to what we are experiencing, and we are only, I'm not mistaken, I think we are only 8 or 9 days away from the US election. But the training issue in Liberia is one that, for me, when this whole thing started, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal expert, but I got common sense. I read a lot. That one thing I know, I read every day. I follow people. I try not to put my emotion into things. I want credible information before I can make a decision or form an opinion on anything in every aspect of my life. I don't do emotion. I do logic. So I look at this thing, I say, bro, we might be running into a constitutional crisis, no matter how you drag it or how long it takes. And if I was to take a bet, I'm not going to bet on the survival of Fanatic Kofa at the end of the day, because I know there are processes, there are legal proceedings. Either way it ends out, I know that I'm not going to bet on Fanatic Kofa's survival, and we might likely get into a constitutional crisis. And we've been seeing things happening, and you can tell that we are slowly walking into a crisis. And now the Supreme Court is getting involved. But when we get further into the discussion, I will give you a reference to a lawmaker. I'll get an excerpt. I don't white spoon talk, but somebody took like a clip, a little 2-3 minute clip of the video, and he shared on his page. And I look at it, I'm like, but this is the same thing we've been seeing on SKTV for the longest. Whether you like it or not, at the end of the day, I think the people who will decide this debacle about the speaker's removal will be the Liberian people. I don't know how we will do it or how people on ground will do it, but at the end of the day, it will be the average Liberian that will be the one to call the shot. Because don't forget, people talk about democracy. I didn't know democracy, we always confusing ourselves. When you read our constitution is a direct replica or duplicate of the US Constitution. The US is not a democracy. The US is a constitutional republic. Or democracy, maybe, the people get it confused. They get form of government, then they get something they call system of government. The way how you get processes, your law, the way how the methodology, the way how you do things, that's democracy. But people think democracy is a form of government. No, it's a system of government. The form of government we got is a Republican form of government. And in a Republican form of government, we, the people, are the one that possesses the power, and we elect certain officials that will represent us in government. And because we are 5 million people cannot assemble one day to go and make a decision on behalf of the country. That's how representative form of or Republican or society. That is, we got people who will go and advocate on our behalf. And unfortunately, things are not turning out well when it comes to Liberia and moving forward with this whole removal of the speaker. And look, I don't know. I keep saying it. I maintain my position. I'm not sure that the speaker is going to survive. I'm not betting on him. I know the Liberian people will have the final say. And at the end of the day, the Constitution will prevail because that's the organic law of the land. That's all I can say for now. And we are slowly working our way into a crisis. It's happening every day. People are witnessing it. It's just a matter of when it will happen. It's not if that's going to happen. Mabel, are you there? 1 second, folks. It seems like Mabel is having some technical issue back there. And hello? Well, we can contend that Mabel gets back. Get back. So that's it. Today is Monday, first day of the week, the work week. And we are here to tell you exactly what's happening in Liberia. A lot of things are happening. And now, the funny thing about the whole stuff is, look, when you listen to politicians speak, man, I mean politics and law, man, when they come together, it can be a whole different thing. And our lawmakers now, they are even going to as far as threatening the Supreme Court and people on the court, that they are getting certain constitutional authority that the Supreme Court cannot overstep their bound. That's why we got a separation of power. Look, maybe I want for Mabel to get back and we will really talk this thing. It's crazy. It's getting worse. It's getting bad off. It's not good for the country. And the executive at this point, they are still sitting on the sidelines and monitoring this thing. We don't know how it might end up to be. But I know one thing for sure, we are slowly walking our way into a constitutional crisis. I will keep saying it for as long as I'm on Sktv, and we are getting there gradually. Lawmakers are making the case. They are quoting the segment or the portion of the Constitution that gave them that authority, whether it's about the separation of power, whether it's about the immunity clause. Look, it's good to read a constitution, it's good to understand politics, because one way or another is going to affect you. And the situation in Liberia is just not great at the moment, and we will get there. But I know we'll see. Maybe.
Yes, my brother. Thank
I
you.
want to know who's running the show, so I want to
Yes.
make sure. Yeah.
Yes, indeed, you're right. How to take a minute to make sure that I give something out to somebody quickly. But again, thank you for holding on, and you just said everything. So
Maybe.
again, we move. Yeah.
Oh, you there? Okay, go ahead. You are saying
Yeah,
something. I didn't want to cut you off your talk.
Yeah, no, I was like saying to you, yes, indeed, that I'm here. So go ahead when you finish.
You know, one thing I want to establish for the show today, the premise for today's show would be, it's simple. I mean, you the one who call the shot. I'm just your co-pilot here. But you know what? Listening to this thing and being following this whole debug of the speaker remover, you know, they got something called precedent. Precedent will always come back to 100. That's why when you are making decisions for a large body or a group of people, you want to set the right precedent, even if you are going against your worst enemy. Because look, power oscillate, it swing left and right. You don't know when this thing will come back to haunt you. Let me give you one instance. Right? Fanatic Kofa, when they were removing Cabinet Janet, Fanatic Kofa, and I was following the show today on OKFN. I didn't watch the whole show. For me, when I follow some of this show or when I'm reading articles, I just skim between them, because you know you don't have all that time to listen for 2-3 hours, and you got other things to follow. So I can just skim and take and just monitor the major talking point and how they analyze it, their own perception or their view. And one thing he mentioned, and you see that why I tell people, I think when you study history and philosophy, you will not make too many mistakes in life. In Fanatic Kofa, I told people on the show, I said when Fanatic Kofa went to Spoon Network, and he started coming up with revelation, I don't think it was about someone who's trying to extend an olive branch. It was mostly about somebody who was sending a warning shot to his colleague and telling them that when I'm going down, you all will be following me. Because Fanatic Kofa know he will go down. And you know the reason he believed he will go down? Let me give you one example, Melbourne. In August 18 of 2020 or 2018, when they were removing Justice Cabinet Janet, they went as far. The Supreme Court also issued a radar prohibition, right? At the time, Fanatic Kofa himself was the chairperson on the House Judiciary Committee. He was one of those that threatened the Supreme Court to back away from the impeachment of Justice Cabinet Janet. So the question is, if he was brave enough, being a head on the House Judiciary Committee, to tell those on the Supreme Court or an associate justice to back off, why make you think that he can go to the Supreme Court this time around and get an answer to save him? You think that's going to happen?
Well, that's the question, and I like the question.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, bad precedent.
Yes, indeed. So again, Mark, let me say thanks to you, and quickly before we move into our discussion. In fact, those of you who just joined us, please, we are appealing to you to like, comment, and share the show so that all can be able to also follow us. Good evening again to those of you who are also following us via the radio. So many of you like that already to the broadcast, and you are texting back to back. Say, maybe indeed we made the Sktv show, especially last evening, Saturday, due to some technical, sometimes this thing happens, especially when it comes from the Almighty Creator, among where there's a heavy storm, the rain, the tunnel, or the lightning, and so forth. Sometimes we got to cut off all of our equipment to be on the safe side. So that what happened last evening. So We sincerely apologize for that. But again, we moved. Mark, there are these thing about a rat rest ban or reback in Liberia. That one news that caught my attention. Rat rest ban reback in Liberia.
Oh, that one is common practice back when we've been since we were kids in Liberia during the war, especially after people. Yeah, it's nothing new. They've been doing it forever. I can remember during the war, we even read the called Bamagida. You know, we don't have stronger regulation in our country. We don't follow these things. And the whole thing about rebegging, writing, red, these things been happening in Liberia forever. I'm not saying they should be accepted, but it just still not practice in our society. You know, if people get on here, they call the FDA. I don't like to compare Liberia and America in any way, shape, or form. But sometimes if you say you want to be the best, then you must learn from the best. The reason other countries are doing great because they look up to other countries and copy some good things about their society. Yeah, they get a food and drug administration. You cannot just bring anything and just put it on the American market. They got to go through proper scrutiny. They got to do some background investigation as far as testing, looking at the expiration date. But when it comes to selling rotten resin, like, bro, matter of fact, market women love rotten resin because they believe they can sell it for cheaper price and make profit. So it's nothing new, my brother. It's been happening forever, and I don't know when it's going to change and whether it's the combat ministry.
So quickly, Monk, so what can we do to get rid of all of these things, buying or rest? Or, in fact, Monk, we are living in our own country where we are giving all of the blessing coming from the Almighty God. We have the land, we have the forest, we have the rainfall, the sunshine, but instead we are living like we are in refugee camp where people have to feed us.
Well, it's a mentality. That's why we accept it. We believe that we are poor people that are at the mercy of other people in other society and how they do things. And the whole thing about the rice, like I said, rice is not something that can get spoiled or day, but over time, you would think that rice is a non-perishable item, but when you don't have proper storage, when you don't have any storage facility and preservation, in this country, the people can preserve food and they got to use certain substances. That's why they can say GMO and some of these things, they are chemicals as well. Yeah, they are not good for you too. So when you get a red, it doesn't mean that the red is going to spoil within a day or two. It will take a while, but over time too, you could also stand chance of it could also possible to end up losing the rice. It could get rotten, it could spoil. Maybe you got leaky warehouse or water touch, then you do when water touch a bag of rice, or when the rice is wet, it tends to spoil, get rotten over time. That's why you have your inspector general, your department of commerce and industry. That's why they exist, so they can be able to put in place rules and laws that people importers will be able to follow, so that they can. Because these things they got health hazard as well. They come with risks. Because if you are eating rotten red, yeah, you're hungry, you think that you're poor, you must eat. But at the end of the day, if the food you are consuming is rotten, then your health too is also cause for concern.
And apart from
it's up to the government. That's why we got government in place. That's why we have, like I said, we have the commerce and industry ministry for inspector for commerce, and they must do these things to make sure that their people can be given or served with good rice rather than eating rotten rice. Well, I know rotten rice is nothing new. It's been happening forever.
So I will ask you about the rotten rice issue. Why can we produce our own rice here in the box?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I don't know what you're getting me. Monk, are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I don't know what my volume went.
Yes. Please check your volume or check your equipment. So again, Monk, apart from the rotten rice, there are so many things that are also not healthy for our people. Like for example, okay, so Monk is out. So for example, even the chicken feet that someone died for, the spare ribs, all of these things, the spare ribs and so forth, all of these things that we consume as citizens. Are we really following up to know the time duration of these things? Do we really care, or is the government really doing the work in making sure that they get these things at least up to date? Because mind you, everything on this earth have their time duration. Everything on this earth, including even human being, no matter how they carry you to, okay, let me bring no matter how they carry you to, I don't know, from Magawa, no matter what kind of best funeral home they carry you to, if you die, you still have you will still lost from the surface of this earth. But Monk, I'm very concerned, apart from the rotten rest, there are also so many things that we consume here in Liberia, sometimes you will see 2 months to the expiration date, and you will see the people ushering these things.
Yeah.
But yes, sometimes you will see even the chicken feet to the what?
Yeah, chicken feet, frozen meat, and everything, a lot of stuff, canned food, everything. The list go on and on.
Damn man. Well, sometimes I wonder as to, because if you see the life of our people, sometimes people are suffering from so many sicknesses, disease, and
Yeah,
so
that
forth.
you can explain.
Good, but they keep asking themselves how they get the disease. For example, somebody will not even having sex, or maybe will not even have partner. You go to say, put have and some kind of big sickness. So they'll be thinking about how come? How come?
And the reason why government need to step up now, over time things can change. One of our biggest trading partners in Africa is China. And when it comes to rules and regulations, the Chinese are not noted for producing quality product. And when you go to Africa, even the soft drink, the bottle, the drink that you consume, you don't even know how they were manufactured. And that's why people always encourage sometimes producing things domestically and locally, because these people, they are not in your best interest. All they want to do is to make money. And like I said, I'm not trying to bash on China, but I know when it comes to international trade, we can post some video. I posted a video yesterday, right, where you saw someone painting apple with some kind of you saw it on my page, right? This thing only happen in China when it comes. So for the fact that they are our biggest trading partner in Africa, that they trade with Africa than any other country in the world, now, it means just expect to see this thing happening, because in China, the people are 1.4 billion people. They don't have time for things. It's not like US where you have to meet certain standard and all the requirements that it will be inspected, health reason. No, in China, it's a whole different society. It's a communist system. So, like I said, I'm not here to bash them, but I know when it comes to the quality of product, they are not one of the best customers to deal with, and they are number one trading partner in Africa. So, even your food now, you got to be very careful as to what you consume in that country. Not only liquor, but your food as well, because of the importers. And you got to be careful. If you got to be your own security. Some things you just have to do it for yourself. If the government cannot come in to step in and play their role, then you must be your own security, because at the end of the day, your health is more important, your longevity is more important than just consuming anything because you feel that you are hungry or you don't have the money. I mean, I prefer to be hungry and healthy than to eat and be sick and find myself in the hospital, or to some extent dying just because I consume the wrong product. I don't think people got to watch out for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I really like that. So more quickly before we transition, the news also that hospital turns death trap. This news coming from the newspaper in Liberia. It said that the hospital turns death trap. Deliverer perform on a phone light. How come again, Monk, we're coming back to these same things after voting out? Maybe you could call the government that were not doing the right things, and they were not paying attention to healthcare and so forth. But then we're hearing that people are not giving birth on a cell phone light.
Baby, it took me a while to understand something. I used to, when I never had access to certain information, I used to ask myself how these people can define the quality of life and how they can predict or to tell the life expectancy. And everything comes down to the quality of your health care. And there are countries who pour more money into healthcare, and there are some countries that believe, like Japan. Let me give you a typical example. You see, Japan invests a lot into early healthcare, early child healthcare, because they believe when you are stable, when you get better healthcare at an initial age or at a very young age, then they don't have to spend money on you that much growing older, because you will grow up healthy. Other countries got different model, but the Japanese model said no. When the child is born, up to their formative year, maybe from 1 to 7, we got to put more money into the healthcare, making sure that they are okay. Then growing up over time, it will reduce our cost when it comes to spending on healthcare. And Melbourne, when you make an investment, you got trained nurses and people can diagnose. The one thing, especially in the case of Liberia, the reason people I can tell people, one of the number one factor is we don't know how to diagnose. Melbourne, if you're a mechanic and I have a problem with my car, and I bring my car to you, let's say my brakes were damaged, or I had a faulty carburetor. Remember, before you can help me fix my car, you must first know exactly what happened to my car. Because they say a problem diagnosed is a problem half solved. Because if you already know what happened, then you know how to treat that particular condition or disease, right? In the case of Liberia and other African countries, we cannot even diagnose. So it's almost like people are literally guessing. And all these things come from low incentive, You're not investing in healthcare. People don't have the equipment. You're not giving them a living wage. You're not paying them handsomely for them to really look. Let me tell you something, Mabel. Naturally, they say people respond to incentive. When you pay people for the job they are doing, they invest more into that job. It makes them to put in the time to go beyond the call of duty just to make sure they can get the job done. In the case of our country, no, I don't think so. And they think about early or childbirth, women dying while they're giving birth. All these things happening because we are not making an investment. We are not training people. We don't have the med. Look, can you imagine your entire hospital out of medicine telling you to come with your medicine? You know what I mean? We're talking about even power to make sure the generator is up and running. Yeah, think about that.
I'm even going to first because mind you, even more before even the medicine, let's talk about the power. At least to make sure that the people see to do the work.
Oh, yes. If you don't give the doctors the tools and the resources that they need, when they're going to give you quality service. That's why healthcare. Healthcare is not just one thing. It's about the facility. It's about the resources you give them. It's about how training medical. It incorporates a whole lot of stuff. So when they say healthcare, it doesn't mean that doctor or nurses. No, there are so many things. My brother, we need the facilities. We need the tools and resources. We need the equipment. Our nurses and doctors should be paid, a decent wage to make a living. And at the end of the day, we get quality service. That's what they call quality service. External or further training, and bringing other experts in the country to train doctors and nurses. All these things come to money and investment. But when we tell our people, they say, oh, it's all about politics. Everything cannot be about politics. That's why the life expectancy in Liberia is between 64 to 68. Whereby in this country, now people living up to 102, 104, 96. The average age now in most nursing homes, you find between 88 to 92. The reason they will live 25 or 30 years longer than you because they got advanced healthcare system. In other countries will follow suit. The more you can invest, the longer you live. If you can put money, maybe why you think a lot of young people keep dying from treatable or preventable diseases in our country? Because they cannot even be diagnosed. You know what I mean for a 36-year-old man to just die halfway into his life? Yeah, I mean that's it, bro. That's just why it is.
So, but Mark, there's this behavior or observation also. Like for example, the politicians who are responsible or the government who are responsible for some of these things, they make it look like the nurses, the doctors, or the healthcare or facility, or those people who are taking care, they are the one risking the life of the ordinary people. Because mind you, Monk, this thing I'm saying to you, the ordinary people always insulting the nurses and the doctors.
No, because you can expect that because they expect something in return. When you are sick and you go to a medical facility, you want to get a result, you want to get healed, or you want to get killed, right? And you believe that the people who are there, who are assigned at those various healthcare facilities, it is their duty to give you the service that you want. So if you go to a hospital and the doctors and nurses are telling you, oh, no drugs here, or even in electricity, or they don't have latex gloves, I mean, you can expect that kind of a reaction from the customer or the people who went there to seek or how they call it, or healthcare, right? Or people who went there to seek remedy to that situation. So you can't blame the people who are complaining, but like I said, everything comes down to government, my brother. You can be the richest man in the world, you alone cannot change a country. That's why we got elected official. That's why we get budget. The healthcare, education, infrastructure. These are things that should be consuming a lion's share of our budget. But in Liberia, everything go to payroll and just sustaining government officials and people that own government payroll. So at the end of the day, you will never get a quality service with the way in which our government operates. Your lawmaker then taking anywhere between 32 million to 45 million and 30 million. No, like we keep saying on Sktv, they are only 103 in total. But when they're talking about public sector investment program, look at, you're talking about launching. You just saw one recently on the LU campus about the PhD program. Look at the building. Look at it. Look at it more on that building. How dirty that building is. And they're telling you they're going to be awarding you a PhD. And we thought this thing, but our people don't see this thing. They don't understand. For them, it's all about politics. It's all about which side is in power, who to play defense for. They forget about themselves. The people are so emotional and hooked onto their own feelings that they themselves could be the victim and they cannot even recognize the victim, even though they are the victim. No, they don't care. It does not.
Well,
that is starting about Liberia.
So if you just joining us again, my people, these are some of the things that we're talking about, even though we have our topic for today, and that topic is the removal of the Speaker of the Republic of Liberia. We're going to depth into that. Maybe later on after the news bulletin, will take 15 minutes talk about that. Then we'll activate the line so that we can, or some of you out there, so that you too, you can also be part. But also, if you want to comment, you can also comment. I'm going to read out your comment for those of you who also follow us via the internet. Indeed, Liberia now, we said that, in fact, the former government, they were not doing well, especially when it comes to healthcare. But again, we are getting reports or news that indeed people are not giving birth on a cell phone light, and that's just so terrible for us as people. These news are not news that we're supposed to be talking about, because why? We expect this country to be one of the best, especially in West Africa, because of the age and because of all of the people we have here. But again, the more said, everything we do here is circle around what we can benefit as individuals. The salaries, it's all about fast salaries. People go to you to beg you, Mom, I come and graduate, Mom, please. Yeah, I mean, no. Most sometimes when I see some of these things, tears set in my eyes. In the check, people will write you, Mom, and tell you, Mom, I come and graduate. I want to play. I mean, with graduation fee. Somebody is graduating from college or university. The person or writing letter to somebody to help them or pay the graduation fee. Why that person will be working and making something at least so that they'll be able to pay their own graduation fees. They are now begging for graduation fee. That's the country we live in today. And so, yeah, again, Mark, so let's move now into the speakership, because there are so many mixed reactions when it comes to the removal of the speaker, especially with the letter coming from the Supreme Court, and you just knew it doing your introductory part. He said that indeed he sends
a precedent.
Yes, indeed.
And the Supreme Court intervention is dead on arrival because it's happened before. The situation with Aaron Snow, the situation with Alex Tyler and Fanatic Kofa, they got some similarity, but they got major differences. They are not the same. Remember, when our lawmakers, the Supreme Court issue of rate of prohibition too during the Cabinet Janet case. And like I said, our lawmakers responded. They wrote a letter. I don't have the letter here, but I took some talking points from that letter, right? They were literally telling the Supreme Court, no, you are overstepping your bound and your constitutional limit. We got balance of power in this country. Let me tell you something, Melbourne. I always say on the show, our constitution came directly from the US, even though they copy and paste, they never got a full version of the US constitution, but they took a very significant part of it. They will tell you that there are 3 equal branches of government. That's a lie. The most powerful branch of government in a constitutional republic or Republican form of government, they are the lawmaker, the first branch of government. They got a right to impeach. And now, like I said, in 2018, they sent a warning shot to the Supreme Court. Back up. You are exceeding your bound. You are violating the Constitution. Matter of fact, don't forget that we have the power and the authority to impeach or justice also. So, and this thing would not go well for Fanatic Kofa. Like I said, he was there before. He was on the Judiciary Committee as the head of that committee. They did it before they set a bad precedent, so he cannot be going to the Supreme Court or to seek any redress in this matter, because at the end of the day, he would be going down. And that's just what happened. Matter of fact, they quoted a lot of constitutional provision, apart from Article 3 that calls for the separation of power. They quoted Article 42 in 2018 that it gets on the court. The impunity clause that gave the impunity, and then they got to the court impeachment clause, and we'll read that particular segment of the Constitution when we get back from the news bulletin, when we get back from the break, so our people can know exactly what we are talking about. That this thing happened before in the past, and it's just a repeat of the past. That, and I can bet you, I can guarantee you, at the end of the day, Fanatic Kofa will not be the winner in this thing. He will go down. The only thing is, I don't know how many people he's going to be taking along with him, and how he's going to manage the whole expectation of bringing people along with him, or resigning, or being kicked out, because the rules and the Constitution is the one that giving the so-called majority black man, is giving them more leverage. Fanatic Kofa doesn't have the leverage in the case, and I just believe at the end of the day, he will be the victim. So we're watching it. We are watching the game, and the game is getting interesting. Trust me, it's getting more than interesting. But we got more to see, and over time, the Liberian people will be the one to call the shot. Maybe I don't think he's available. check. Faliku say left for Natikova go sleep. Yeah, that's why you don't want to set bad precedent. Whenever you see something going wrong, make sure you set the course of history. Make sure you are always on the good side of history, because the day power changes hand, you will be the victim, and you will be victim because what? You set a bad precedent in the past. And when it comes to the law, when it comes to the justice system, or even impeachment, everything come to precedent. That's why when you watching TV, even in this country, when people are listening to a particular Supreme Court hearing, they use precedent from past cases, things that they analyze and how they came up with their judicial philosophy, or how to even rule on a particular amendment or on a constitutional requirement. They set precedent, and exactly that's what happened in Liberia. When you set a bad precedent, you will become a victim of your own history. And for Nantikova, my brother, just make sure, I don't know if you would take people along with you, that would be your calling, but you are not going to survive this thing, because you were one of those that set that bad precedent in the past. It was just what, 6 years ago. Yes.
Yeah, so we want to really appeal to you that you hold on for the next 15 minutes.
All right.
We have a technical issue is still to be. So we want you to hold the show. And trust me, after the news bulletin, I'm going to join you, but I'm also watching you at the back.
All right. Take care.
Yeah,
but you're bringing the news bulletin out for our audience too, as well?
Well, no way, because of the technical issue that we have is still to be.
Oh, okay, you cannot.
No.
All right, then I will get ticket for the 15 minutes, and then yeah. So yes, my who said something like you know, when you go back to 2018, when our lawmakers went and wrote the Supreme Court justices to back away from the impeachment trial of Cabinet Janet, they quoted some articles from the Constitution, and we will read those articles here. They are very short, just a couple of sentences. One of the things they talk about was the separation of power. That one, the separation of power, is something that everybody knows. We got 3 branches of government, and everybody are given certain limitations. You cannot overstep your bound. The president, the lawmakers can call for veto. Or the lawmaker can call for an impeachment. The president can use his veto pen when he thinks that lawmaker can come up with law that contradict the Constitution. That's why he got veto power, and they can all check each other out. But when it came to the whole issue of Cabinet Janet, even though they quoted something we call the separation of power, the next article they quoted was Article 42. And let me just read Article 42. We call it the immunity clause. So these guys believe that they have more power, that they are the most powerful branch of government. Matter of fact, they are the only one that can impeach, that can carry on an impeachment. They can remove a president if it so chooses. They can remove an associate justice or any justices on the bench. They got that power. So Article 42, there's what it says. Article 42, right here. Let me find that provision. I got the Constitution right in front of me. Let me just find it real quick, folks. 1 second here. Article 42. Hey, bro. Listen to what the guy said. Article 42 gave them something they call immunity clause that protect them. They said no member of the Senate or the House of Representatives shall be arrested, detained, prosecuted, or tried as a result of opinion expressed or vote cast in the exercise of the function of his office. Members shall be privileged from arrest while attending, going to, or returning from session of the legislature, except for treason, felony, or breach of the peace. All official act done or performed, and all statement made in the chambers of the legislature shall be privileged, and no legislator shall be held accountable or punished thereafter. Can you imagine that? They got a particular law that protect them. So what they are telling the Supreme Court Associate Justice is, if you cannot back up, even though you are violating the Constitution, you are violating Article 3, you are not only violating that, matter of fact, now you want to hold a House member in contempt, which is also a crime. Don't forget, we have the power to impeach you as well. That's why they are quoting Article 42. And they didn't stop there. They went as far as something they call Article 43. And Article 43 of our Constitution calls for something they call the impeachment power. Like I just mentioned, they got the constitutional power to impeach either the president, vice president, or even a Supreme Court justice. They have that power also. And this is what Article 43 says. The power to prepare a bill of impeachment is vested solely in the House of Representatives, and the power to try impeachment is vested solely in the Senate. When the president, vice president, or an associate justice is to be trial, the chief justice shall preside. When the chief justice or judge of a subordinate court of record is to be trial, the president of the Senate shall preside. No president shall be impeached but by the concurrence of 2/3 of the total membership of the Senate. Judgment in such a case shall not extend beyond removal from office and disqualification to a whole public office in the republic, but the party may be tried at law at the same offense. The legislature shall prescribe the procedure for impeachment proceeding, why shall be in conformity with the requirement of due process. My brother, we don't need to explain this. This thing is clear. Our guys know exactly what they are doing, and they are just sending a warning shot to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court justices that are on the bench. Stay away from this thing. We are the one with the most power here. We can conduct forum, even though we don't, quorum, even though we don't have the total number of vote yet to remove the speaker, but we still have power to exercise, and we are the most powerful branch. That's just 3 of those provisions that I named. And look, I don't know. I really don't know. I really wanted to be on the radio to say this thing because it's very powerful, and our people need to hear it. I don't know. They cannot hear me now. I don't know if I can hold this particular talking point until Melbourne gets back on the radio. But I think it will make sense for me to hold it for now and for the next 15 minutes. So one thing I want for people to understand our form of government, the Supreme Court cannot interpret law that does not exist. A matter of fact, they are not giving a blanket authority to interpret law. Either way they choose to interpret the law. No. Our lawmakers are the ones giving that constitutional authority to write the law, and the Supreme Court can interpret, but they cannot interpret law that does not exist. Now, who owns the leverage or who have the leverage here to even go and make some changes to law? It can only be the lawmaker. So the number one argument that I even mentioned when Steve and Sekou was on the show, when this thing started from day one, I said, I'm not a constitutional scholar. I'm now a legal practitioner, but I just know common sense. When you live in this country, you study this country constitution, and you try to merge the two as to how Liberians will interpret our law. The one thing I know, the biggest fault on Fanatic Kofa's part is Fanatic Kofa cannot even establish a quorum. And what the other guys are saying, yes, we need 49 to impeach him. Okay, you can make the argument that we don't have 49, but we have 43. We have more than enough to trigger a quorum. So in that sense, it makes us legitimate. We are the legitimate group here. We are the one with the most power. And let me tell you something. When you read our standing, and when you read the standing rules of our lawmakers, they have the exclusive right to something they call self-governance, that they can govern themselves without the interference of either the executive or the judiciary branch of government. That's why I keep telling people, when you read constitutional law and you study or representative come of democracy, the lawmakers, they are the most powerful. Whether you like it or not, that's just the reality. Now, they can govern themselves. They are capable of any punishing some of that member by themselves. No other branch can do that. When it comes to the law, only the people in the house can do that. So for those in the Supreme Court, matter of fact, we talk about precedent, you back up from this thing before, because the same Fanatic Kofa and a member of gangs at the time, a cadre of gang, they told you to back up this thing. So why you want to come with the same road of prohibition when this guy warned you that your rate of prohibition was even illegal, that it violated the Constitution, and you accepted it back then? Justice Johnny was removed from office. So why now you want to come in and interfere? That's why people believe now that we are not only seeking redress from the judiciary branch or from our justices, now a more of an interference. And the lawmaker are telling you, when you interfere with our authority, don't forget, we got something they call the impeachment power also. So you could also be a victim. So my thing here today, for our people in the third branch of government or the people that are in the judiciary, you might as well back off from this thing and let this guy handle it whatsoever way they want to handle it. If we get to the constitutional crisis, the Liberian people will be the ultimate decider. They will come and referee this entire game, because these guys are not backing up. And I know Fanatic Kofa is not going to back up. Even if he's going to be the victim, he will still put up some fight. That's our argument, that Fanatic Kofa is going to put up some fight in this thing. But my advice to our justices or the entire Supreme Court, stay away from this thing, because you yourself, you also establish a bad precedent when it comes to standing up for people and respecting the Constitution. So for Natikofa, in this case, he cannot be a victim. He's an accomplice of setting by president, and he's just getting a taste of his own medicine. Because when you serve on the judiciary committee, it means like it almost like you the lawyer, the official lawyer of all your colleague, of all the lawmakers. When it comes to anything relating to the laws of Liberia, he was on that committee. He was the head of that committee. And matter of fact, he was the one giving all the constitutional provision that justices should stay out of the impeachment of Justice Kabina Janet. So he cannot be a victim. I keep saying it, and I will say it again. The most Natikofa can do is to keep fighting and cause enough damage so that when he becomes a victim, in the end, he can take a lot of prisoners along with him. Other than that, I just don't see a path for him, because our lawmaker, and the main talking point that I say I will hold until Milgon gets back on the radio, and I will hold that talking point, it will be very interesting, because there are certain rules that our lawmaker are quoting now that you will be surprised to hear, even though you were told that, oh, they don't have the numbers, they cannot remove the speaker, they need 49, but now they said that 43. No. Whenever you see, that's why I tell people, when you study these people law here, or any industrialized country, whether it's in European countries or America, because America, it gets a replica, it's in European structure, Roman Empire, Asian Greece, and that gets the same. When you study these people law, they have other check and balances. Like in America, they get something they call the Bill of Rights. Yet that certain individual right, you cannot take it away from anybody. Those are their God-given right. They get something they got other federal statutes and law that check on the Constitution, that every provision in the Constitution, they got law that when the worst happen, they got a particular formula or they got a remedy to address that particular problem. The people got something they call the Federalist Paper, that when they were writing the Constitution, that the intent of what the country wanted to have become, the people who formed this country, they had document, they had essay, they that were plan, they that were goal, they that want to achieve. In the case of Liberia, you partially copy a constitution and you don't know that there will be crises that will arise, and you don't have law to remedy those crises. That's where the problem is. So in that case of Liberia, it only gave our lawmaker more power, because they are the one making the law. They are the one that have the whole thing about self-governance without the interference of the two other branches of government. So there are so many leverages that they have at the disposal that the judiciary branch or the executive cannot even come closer to. And that's what they are using. And they keep telling you, we are not backing up. This thing will go to the end, and we will make sure we achieve our objective. And that objective is to remove the House Speaker. I don't know why they are doing it, because there are so many theories about trying to prevent an audit. Some people say, oh, it's about political maneuvering, it's about personal interest. I don't know. Even though they're giving us a hint that it's more about corruption, how the speaker was also part of some money moving here and there in the budget. But at the end of the day, I know that these guys that call themselves the majority black, they are not only calling themselves the majority black because they know they carry some power. And when we get on the radio, we discuss that. But you got to wear your seatbelt, man, and buckle up, because this thing it's going to get bumpier moving along the way, and it's not looking good for the country. We just don't know the step that we as Liberians, whether you're in the media, whether you are ordinary citizen, whether you are in the military, whether you are analyst or you are political pundit, I don't know this next step. I cannot be the one to predict how the Liberian people will receive this, but it will get to a point that the other in the room, we have to stand up and take charge. And I don't expect that coming from our lawmakers. And Sekou can say, I'm not even expecting to come from the Liberian people themselves, because they are never serious for business. For them, they are only looking for two things: who to defend and who to criticize based on who is in power at a particular given point in time. It's not about the country's future. It's not about himself. It's all about which side you are on, especially when it comes to the CDC and Unity Party thing. Like, people just cannot break past those two. For them, everything is about the politics. Everything is about defending their version of a criminal and going after another candidate if their party is not in power or their political leader is not in power. So at the end of the day, I just don't know as to how far we can drag this thing. The one thing that I know, I'm not going to bet on Natikofa survivor. And I know that these people who call themselves the majority black, I know they carry some secret weapon with them that they will make sure they can oust the House Speaker. And when you put the precedent aspect of it, it just makes the kids even easier for them. Because I know the judiciary branch or our justices, they will end up backing up, because we said initially that they set up our precedent dating back to 2018. So they cannot be the one to come and act like referee trying to pin Fanatic Kofa as a victim. No, Fanatic Kofa is not a victim. Fanatic Kofa is an accomplice. He was one of those that set those bad precedent, and he's only getting a taste of his own medicine. That's what's happening now. So nothing is going to change. We just don't know. Because don't forget, when it comes to the budget is supposed to be, we're supposed to start moving the budget down to the house for 2025. And you cannot even get our lawmakers to get their housing order. And everybody in Liberia is impacted by the budget. That's the largest instrument in the entire bureaucracy. So if you cannot even start the budget process, then the entire country is in trouble. That's why I keep saying, at a certain point in time, whether you like it or not, the Liberian people, you will have to come and take a stronger hold of this thing. Either way, I don't know how you will do it, but at the end of the day, that's how it's going to end. Mabel, welcome back.
Yes, my brother, thank you so much. And even though all of the good things you were saying were not really on the radio for our people to hear some of these things, but again, let me say thank you so much for some of these plays analysis and play-by-play. And to those of you who follow Mark, also our viewers, thanks to all of you for all of your wonderful comments and so forth. And more you do, more nothing against some of the comments. Anything you say to more going to respond, or in fact we will respond to your comments as to if your comments is indeed important to our discussion. But for our confrontation, we move. Yeah, so Mark, you've been talking all of these things about the removal of the speaker, and you also comparing our constitution with that of the U.S. I don't know, you don't want to summarize some of the things so that our people can get you a little bit and then I move in.
No, the reason I was making a comparison, I keep saying our constitution is a duplicate or replica or to some extent of the U.S. constitution. And they will always tell you, oh, they are called three equal branches of government. I say, no, they are not equal. They are not even remotely close to being equal. Maybe when you come to this country, when you read it, you don't come here, you can read from anywhere. The president gets something they call Article 2 powers. Every function and duty of the president in this country is spelled out. He cannot even step one step above his constitutional duty. He will trigger maybe an impeachment or removal because the law, the framework of the law, they gave more power to the first branch of government. That's why they call it the people's house. So when you practice a Republican form of government or a constitutional republic, it means that we the people are the one that get the power. You are only representing us because of representative form of a democracy. Because you can put 5 million people in Capitol Building to go make an argument. But we got people from each district that will carry our voices over there and make and go and do our work. Maybe the talking point that I kept holding from our audience until I said let Milburn come back before we can tell you. Let me tell you something. And that revelation came from this guy from Bon County, one of the representatives. They call him something of family. He said something profound, and we insinuated that on the show. Let me tell you something. The argument most people were making was Fanatic Kofa is going to survive simply because the majority bloc doesn't have 49 lawmakers to remove him, right? And Fanatic Kofa presently sits at anywhere between 29 to 30. That's it. Yes. I told you guys on the show, I said Fanatic Kofa's biggest weakness is the fact that he doesn't even have a simple majority to call a quorum. When you have a quorum, it's just like the quorum is just an official duty to tell you, say, my brother, you can operate legitimately, even though you don't have the number, but at least you are legitimate by virtue of the law and our standing rules and the constitution. In the case of Fanatic Kofa, let me tell you something what's happening now. The majority bloc, you know what they are telling you now? They are not even considering themselves to be a bloc. They are telling you they are the plenary because
they are the one in charge.
Yeah, they are the one with the highest power, even though we have a split house. But they got more than enough number to call for a quorum. The quorum said only 38. They got 43. So they exceed the limit. Now, when they exceed the limit, what they are saying now is we become the plenary by default because we cannot only call for a quorum. We have the number that gave us more than what the quorum gave us. So technically, even though Fanatic Kofa is not removed yet, but technically he's illegitimate because he does not even have the number to call for a quorum in executing the Liberian people business. You see what I'm talking about yet? You see what I'm talking about? So now, if they are the plenary, then what make you think they can make decision? Because they have the number, and that was the thing. That's the difference. That's what makes Fanatic Kofa and the whole the Fanatic Kofa, he was there a weekend or week of him in this whole argument. And I think it's not going to hold better for him. That's what I believe.
But wanting to quote more, do you think is the right thing for him to do?
Well, how can a guy run? How can a guy run to the court if you are one of those, like I said, that started a bad precedent? Fanatic Kofa won the judiciary brain to stay away when it came to the. He told them to render their writ of prohibition useless, and he quoted constitutional provision that gave them the authority. Article 43, Article 1. 40, I think Article 40, Article 3, the separation of power. Fanatic Kofa was the head of the House Judiciary Committee. So it means he was the one doing most of the talking and quoting most of those laws. So if you are going to set a bad precedent about removing your justice and even defying even going to the extent of defying the Supreme Court of writ of prohibition, then how can you go to them for redress? How? Because the same rate of prohibition they are putting out there, right? So you violated it before in 2018. You are on the record. You quote the constitutional provision. Matter of fact, they even threatened the justice that they could be impeached. Lawmakers have the right to impeach or associate justice. You don't know that, Melbourne?
Oh yes, indeed.
Okay,
that happened before.
Yeah, if it happened before, then why do you think I can expect anything better going to the Supreme Court for redress? It's a waste of your time. You will go. I don't know how you will go, but I know he will go at the end of the day. The process is, I cannot project the process. Maybe, like I said, maybe if we can drag it and make the thing into a spectacle to take it as far as a constitutional crisis, maybe he might take other people along him. But I know at the end of the day, when the dust settles, he will go. And let me tell you another thing the guy said, another revelation he made.
Yes, I know you want to talk about fully formula, but quickly, more, because you don't have, I don't have. Now, for example, now because you just talk about the lawmakers in majority, though they are close to 43 members, and the speaker block also they are 30. For them, they don't have the power to do the developmental work, or the government to the executive will not also want to work with them because they are not legitimate. Now, the speaker with less number or 30%, they are the ones that have been recognized. So how do you want to play this in between?
No question. Mabon.
Yeah.
You are making a statement or asking me a question? Sorry, I lost track for a few seconds.
Yes, so I'm asking you as to, because there have been this saying, in fact, you just mentioned that not too long, that the anti-Fanatic Kofa bloc, they have 43 members, and the speaker bloc, they have about 30%, and we are seeing these things tracking back to back. The Liberia government, through the executive, won't be able to do business with those people who are in majority, because why? They are not being recognized as the legitimate people, and those people also from the speaker side now being recognized, but they are less number. So, do you think because of that, something maybe the speaker will be forced to resign, or maybe something going to happen?
Mabon, the one thing that I know, like I keep saying, and I will keep saying, I don't know how the speaker will be removed. I cannot make that projection, right? I cannot make that prediction either. But I know at the end of the day, he will be a gunner. And there are precedents, there were past examples that we can lay claim of that happened before. Let me tell you something. Even the same photo under the formula guy, right? Another thing he said that was very profound. You know, when they said there was a committee that was set up to intervene from the Senate, right? About bringing some kind of a sanity between the two breakaway factions. That the Senate was sending some people, I think, the Western got finished to have been
entire committee.
Yeah, let me tell you something. One thing people fail to realize: the reason the Senate was trying to intervene not because they want to add like adults in the room. What they got said, based on their own standing laws and order in their house or in both houses, even though they don't have the number to remove the speaker, I will repeat myself, they don't have the number to remove him by virtue of the constitution, the 2/3. But they have more than enough number to call for a quorum. Matter of fact, they exceed the threshold for establishing a quorum, right?
Yes.
He is saying They are no longer a block, but automatically, because they have that constitutional authority by virtue of that number to call a quorum, it means they will be conducting the Liberian people business. And when you have the power to conduct the Liberian people business, automatically you become the legitimate group or the legitimate faction of the House of Representatives, right? You know the reason our lawmakers in the Senate now, they are siding with the majority bloc? Because if you cannot have a legitimate faction in the House, then it means the Senate will cease to operate. So for that reason, now, our senators, they are being forced to recognize the so-called majority bloc. Because if they cannot recognize them, then it means it will extend to the Senate, and the Senate will be decapacitated, or they will be incapacitated when it comes to the law. So right now, our Senate, or the Senate as a whole, as a body, they are recognizing the majority bloc, even though the majority bloc doesn't have the number to remove the speaker. Can you imagine that? That's why I keep telling you, you can carry it into Jerusalem. At the end of the day, you will run into a constitutional crisis, because don't forget, we got constitution, but we have standing rules and orders when it comes to how to conduct business. So they are not fools. They know exactly what they are doing. They know their own rules. They know why they are playing that game.
Among with this court and the upper house setting in their own members to also maybe call for peace, kind, and so on. Do you think that's going to work? Because mind you, the speaker already gone to court and they are not calling for peace and reconciliation. Do you think that's going to work?
Maybe, I don't know. Like I said it on the show, I said if this speaker were really about mending fences and extending an olive branch, some of the revelation, you cannot be talking about finding peace or common ground and then putting your fellow lawmakers under the bus. And matter of fact, we already know that they have an intention to remove the speaker, right? So I think it was more of a defiance rather than finding a middle ground. That's why I said on Sktv almost a week ago and saying the thing started. So the whole idea that the president that the speaker is trying to bring people on board. I know, maybe I will keep saying it before we can go to the radio and hear from our people. I will keep saying it. I cannot tell you in which order or fashion this particular speaker will be removed from office, but I know at the end of the day, he will be a gunner. That's why I keep saying, I'm not changing my position on that. When it comes to the law, there are standing rules, there are order. I don't know how they will manipulate it to get that 49 or to find some other remedies, whether it comes to their own standing order or their own rules to remove him. But I know at the end of the day, by the time the dust settles for Nantikova, he won't survive this thing. And the whole idea that the Senate is getting involved, they are not only getting involved to bring about peace or to bring about common ground. No, they are getting involved for political reason also, because if the majority bloc, by virtue of their own rules and order, make them legitimate, then it means the Senate should recognize the legitimate group. And they are legitimate because they can call for a quorum, and Fanatikova doesn't even have the number to trigger a quorum.
So
I don't have to explain myself over, bro.
Yes. So to just add up to what you are saying, and also follow-up question also, sometime last Thursday, that video, this video that was trending about Samuel Koga, also one of the strong fighters, also from the anti-Kofa bloc, that also seen the Liberian Senate hawking some of his colleagues from the upper house, and his visitation was very friendly, and he was hugely welcome. What do you sense?
You know, there was a speaker, one of the lawmakers, he spoke. I read some article from the Liberian Observer. His statement he made, he said, we know this game. We know how we end. We know people who've been having control of this country for the longer. We know the kind of a game that they will play, and we know how to play this game. When you see that video, I don't want for people to buy into anything conspiratorial here, to say, oh, that conspiracy. But it's almost like they received this guy like the way the Romans received Julius Caesar when he defeated Pompey. It's almost like we send you on a mission and you execute that mission like that. That's the kind of image that was created in that little video that I saw. That's why I believe this thing was coordinated, and there are so many people involved. If I was fanatic cover, I would not be seeking my survival, because I know I would not survive. If I was fanatic cover, if I were in his position at this moment, I would be doing everything possible to make sure I take a lot of prisoner with me, because it's orchestrated. And I believe to a certain extent, maybe the executive themselves will get involved, because now we can get a sense or we got a sense that our senators, they are also part of the game and the showmanship. So why not? Who knows where am I in it? And that's why I keep saying over and over repeatedly that at the end
Wonderful.
of
So
the
let's go
day,
to the
the
line
Liberian
and
people, yeah.
yes, indeed. So let's go to the line. Thank you so much, President Monk. If you're just joining us, for those of you, maybe you were busy and or one way or the other, you just joining us. This is the SKTV show, and today is Monday, the Monday edition. I'm Johnson Kula with my colleague, President Monk, also from the US. We are here, and we're going to be with you up to 8 o'clock on tonight. Let me say thanks to those of you who are also watching us via the internet. Please, if you haven't yet followed the SKTV page, we are appealing to you to follow the page. It's Sktv-Lib. And the line already start blinking. Let me get to the line and pick this first caller. Is the caller is international caller. Good evening. Yeah, let me see. I'm not getting too close. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you from Minnesota.
Wonderful. Go ahead, my brother.
Monkey talking one thing over and over. Brother, the Constitution does not get the majority.
Okay.
The Constitution get the minority to adjourn. And as long as they adjourn, in 5 days, the Senate will shut down. That's why when you listen to Representative Musa Hassan Dirty, he made mention that the executive, in fact, he's the chair on defense, right? He said that this government is going to shut down. If anything go more than Tuesday, if they adjourn, you know what's going to happen? We don't know what the country is heading to. Not because it happened yesterday to somebody and me, it will happen. They already asked, are you talking over and over now? They are not playing the election when they vote who they want to vote for in Liberia. Because SKTV is one of the group of people who always castigating people.
No, hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, don't go that way. We talk what we see and we talk what we talk. Let's discuss. And yes, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand. So if you keep saying because it happened, said this is going to happen today, it's going to happen today, let's watch the process and see. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I know more will be spoke. 0778 339 That's the number for you to call. Sorry, line 1 is off, or you can call line 2 0778 339 This is the SKTV show. Go straight to the point. Let's go straight to what we are discussing on today. You know, every time we come here, we have our own topic for the day. So let's call. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, my brother. Go ahead, your name and from where you join us.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to the guests online. Maybe this is so the big. I join you from around the piece of the maybe this country is a country of law, not a country of men. And the country, even the politicians, they bet on the constitution of this country. That's why today they are being elected as representatives or senators or even president. Without the constitution, we would not stand on the land to go and vote next. So nobody is bigger than the constitution. No rules, no standing rules in any government agency is bigger than the constitution. The constitution is bigger than everything that we do make on. The constitution back on a Mokofa. The constitution not back the majority group. The constitution back the speaker. Article 30, Article 32, Article 38, Article 49, Article 65, Article 66. The mailing. I hear people saying that the Jerusalem is want to melt into the legislator. The information is false. As long as you take an issue to the Jerusalem, in fact, the judge with the responsibility, the Constitution gives them the right. These are the people that break the tax. Anything here you don't understand, run to them. It ain't mean that we run to them and then we try to melt in our politics or in our affairs. We run it to them so that they can interpret the Constitution to us so that we can know our standing. So when you see people coming out to say that the Nigeria just start giving the men air in this country.
All right.
All of those guys, maybe let me
yeah, hold on. I'll tell you a second.
Every one of them are on that committee watch it up. If they have the 11 to move on with solicitor vote in abroad district to remove them.
Oh. Thank you so much. And they will see it, how we discuss it, and you too, you have a right to your opinion. So let's call a good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, but dear, go ahead.
And let me say a pleasant good evening to the panelists.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the discussion from District 4, and officially this is the voice of Agwe.
I know.
Quickly,
Yeah.
the team for always providing the necessary information to the listening ears of the Liberian people. We commend all of your efforts. But this issue relating to the removal of the speaker, I mean, this has been something in the news for like almost 2 to 3 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
But Mabel, like many colors have said, and I want to add my voice to the many colors. I don't know the removal of the speaker, what significant change or changes will it bring to this country. Mabel, there are a lot of essential things I think we have to discuss in this country. Our health sector is seriously challenged. Our education sector is seriously challenged. Is it that the removal of the speaker will help to mitigate these different challenges we have in our health sector and that of our education sector? Is it that when the speaker is being removed, Liberians will be able to eat food 3 times a day before going to bed? Is it that when the speaker is removed, all of the challenges our staffers at the University of Liberia and students at the University of Liberia will they be curtailed? Look, we shouldn't politicize everything in this country. But what I can say is there is a conspiracy against the speaker for the speaker to be removed. I don't want this thing to persist.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Akwe Boy. To my uncle, Brad Tate, good evening.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you've been on the line for a long time. It's not easy.
Yeah, that's it. And let me thank all of you. Mark, I know Mark is listening because I want to ask him a question.
Yes, Mark listening.
So I hope he's listening. Now, in our election law, they say a presidential candidate must obtain 50 plus 1
Mm-hmm.
to win the presidential race. Why in the case that you don't obtain 50 plus 1, there should be a runner-up. In the current elections, the CDC and President Weah got higher vote, but they don't obtain 50 plus 1. But do you think it would have been proper for Weah as a sitting president and he get 50 plus 1, but he had a higher vote in the first round to declare himself? Thank you.
All right, Monk will respond to that. Thank you. Monk, I hope that you taking note. To this caller, good evening. Hello? Keep a call coming 0778-339-682. For those of you also outside of Liberia, you can also call on our WhatsApp number. Let me see how the number is there. To this caller, good evening.
Yeah, Mabel, how you doing?
My brother will great. Thank God for life. Go ahead, your name and from where you join us.
Yeah, I'm Anthony Welle and I join from Johnsonville.
Go ahead, Anthony.
So I want to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
If this speaker resigns, is he going against the law?
All right.
So I don't understand. Yeah, no, it's rhetorical anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
The truth is that even the speaker himself is holding the country hostage. He was elected by 36 members. But the 3 members have signed a vote of no confidence against your speakership. Is that not sufficient reason to recuse yourself? And then you are asking people to come and report Funatikova to Funatikova. They put that issue against you. So they cannot complain you to yourself. Recuse yourself and allow your deputy speaker to preside so we can present our case for deliberation. If the matter is grievous enough that we can impeach you, we'll gather the vote on the floor based on the deliberation of the issue of against you. But why is he refusing that? So you cannot be telling the person, go report Funatikova to Funatikova. You can't be presiding when they put that case against you, and it seems that they're reporting you to your very self. So I think there's conflict of interest on the speaker part, and he needs to do the right thing to release this country. By recusing himself and allow the deputy speaker to preside, I think the guys are still giving the opportunity to CDC to continue, the speakership. So I think that's my point on this.
All right. Thank you so much. To this caller, good evening. Sorry, we can't go that way. To this caller, good evening. Go ahead, my brother. No, go ahead. That's the main view, please. We don't want people to be responding to respond. No. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you so much. I like that. Thank you. So let's call up. I don't know why you're calling us on private number. Hello. Hello, who's this?
Yeah, my name is Aaron Pisa. I'm calling from Tugoro.
Yeah, okay, but your number is on private and that's not just so good.
Sorry,
But go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to sound a serious caveat to the lawmaker who make the law and try to defy the Supreme Court rule. Who, if they not resolve this particular thing and make our government move the rules smoothly so that our generation can be prosper in Liberia, we will stay tall. And then our election, I will carry them to sit there and represent us. We'll go and close our doors, and they will get out. And then the president.
When you will close their door, the people say you, my man. When you close the what door?
We'll close the door. We'll close the outer door. Then everybody will just be sitting there, and the president will be released.
All right, thank you so much, my brother. Keep your calls coming 0778. No, Liberia, that's so interesting. We'll close the door. What are you close the one door? Scary sort of people. So let's call a good evening. Hello. Hello. Keep your calls coming 0778 339 Liberia. 0778 339 So let's call a good evening. Hello. Yeah, go ahead, my brother. I don't want to cut you because to get through is difficult. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Alex. I'm calling for Sktv-Lib.
Okay, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I just want to say a few things. Those are calling like.
Oh, could have been home and ask. To this call, good evening. Yeah, my dear, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for your show. Maple, this is our David. I join your discussion from Kuminga Market.
Yes, your people you have voted for, they are fighting.
Hello, I did right there.
I said the people you have voted for, I said they are fighting among themselves.
Yeah, okay. Maple, you see, you know, sometimes some of us are in the foreign places that are in government, all these are people with our businesses, you know, they can see the rest of that stuff. But people are supposed to be doing better. Then they pretend that they're doing the wrong thing, thinking that they're doing the best thing in the future to liberate people. Those guys who call themselves majority bloc, they are the ones that bring into this country. They think they're bringing a lead to war in this country.
No, man, a politics.
You know what I mean? So say the illegal power thinking that he's doing the right thing. Now, they are not reached the 49 that is told us. Now they are defying Supreme Court. Supreme Court will stop order. They are saying no. So what are they telling us? They want to go against the law. They act like the lawless country when Senate rather to want to go there and let the capital state to. You know what's going to happen? That everybody can be lawless.
No, please. Everybody.
Someone getting someone angry in this country. The money no guys just for when they are behaving like that is getting someone angry in the public places. That's why it's my crazy. Money is on the top, and then tell him what from the people. It's not that we don't know from the people in party. We don't know it. But the money no guy is the illegal money that they get for shopping, no food to eat. Then they tell him that behaving like that. We are telling him from the people. Let me be bold. In case of anything in this country, someone we wait till the town from the people. Thank you very much.
All right, in case of nothing will happen, my brother. So let's call a good evening.
Yeah, Mr. Mabel, how you doing?
I'm okay. Thank God for life, my brother.
Yeah, my name is Aaron Pisa. I'm calling from Tugoro. I want to thank you for the short topic of discussion at this hour. Mabel, we want to apologize to all our lost people bringing problems serious for our country. We want to apologize because I had this thing started way back. It's coming small to go in there at the end of the day. It came out to 14 years. So we don't want anything to result of 14 years. The country is a country of law, not a country of men. If you want to remove speaker, we should be in session to elaborate people where we lobby on the 49 by the Constitution. And don't dare the Supreme Court of Liberia. But the Supreme Court is there for the country. If there the Supreme Court, we the citizens will stand to fight.
And the thing there now, the president don't want to listen to the Supreme Court. All right. Thank you so much. We the people who will stand up if you stand against the court. So that's called a good evening. Monk, if you want to take calls on us,
I will take a couple of calls from here. Mr. Bishop call me, but I think he will call you from the WhatsApp number.
Yeah,
I think I can take a couple of calls here.
Yeah, so the call will be the last call, then I'll cross over to you, Monk. Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to Mark and the many listeners for the broadcast. My name is William Crowley, and I joined this conversation for the I think when it comes to this speaker removal regarding solar profile, look, I think people need to understand, right? There are many processes that lead to official vacating from office. One, you either vacate the office through resignation, you either vacate the office through dismissal, or you vacate the office through a regular election to be removed. So if, when it comes to financial issues, there are two processes to that. He either resign or he be removed by resolution to election. So if the incumbent in the house there have not reached a number to remove him democratically to election, I think
for until run to court, and the people said they don't get time for that thing. In fact, they will have a session tomorrow.
That there's no branch of government who will interfere in the working of another branch of government. So the city of them working independently at the city equal branches.
So when I get problem, so when I get issue, when I go to your house, so you're not rescue me because I'm married man. Okay, you go off. Mark, go ahead, my brother. Look, these are just simple.
You know that's why I missed it of the fact that you were on the when I was reading certain provision, you were going for the break.
Indeed, because with the issue now, people are also saying that the court should not interfere. The people run to the court.
No, why they don't understand, Mabon? The thing is very simple. That's why I mean the number there for someone, anyone that want to call at least up to indeed. 5 minutes to the hour. I mean, I posted the number 612-475-4023. I can take a couple of calls from here.
Yes.
Mr. Did you call? I mean, on I forgot. Switching over to you, but then later I was able to set up. Maybe he can call you on the WhatsApp. Or Mr. Dishu can call me back on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, so why waiting for call? Go ahead and say what you were saying about the entire process with it.
Oh, somebody, I got someone calling from Pennsylvania already. So let me take that call. Yeah, hello, caller. Your name and where you calling from? You're live on Sktv. Go right ahead, because we're out of time already. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling from Indiana for some security reason. I'm not going to call my name because for the information I'm about to give.
Okay.
So the thing about the whole situation, we have to be very, very careful with the caliber of people that are involved. Look, the person who really spearheading this whole group, the so-called majority black of this situation, is related to Prince Johnson. Johnson, how you call it, cousin. So the thing we're playing with is a serious matter with some hidden agenda that we have to be very careful as Liberians. This is what started way back, and what got some of us on youth was taken away as that it we're playing from way here. So, Samuel Koga is Prince Johnson cousin, and he's sort of related to Prince Johnson. So those things, we have to start, analyzing those things on some of those people that are involved and their relationship with those warlords that brought chaos into our countries and what have you. So I just wanted to throw that out there. While we're thinking about the political side, we should also be, thinking about the other side of it and their relationship with those warlords.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you for your 1 minute. Hello, caller. 1 minute, please. If you stay online, hello. Mabon.
Yeah, Monk.
Mabon, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
I got one more. I got one more caller. Oh, Mr. Dishu calling. Go ahead, caller. 1 minute, please. Make it brief, please.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah, I'll make it brief. I think Monk is very wrong. He's provided one side of the argument, right? And his argument is void of objectivity. So the majority of the bloc has to call themselves. They have the right to remove the speaker, which is clear. Everybody knows that. But the number is 49. Now, for me, the most powerful number is 25. If you don't have 25, the speaker is not removed. And so the majority bloc does not have the right to exclude the speaker and the deputy speaker and any elected representative from their sessions. So they are calling for the deputy speaker to show up. No, it doesn't work that way. All representatives are elected and they have to show up to all sessions. They have a right to be there. But it's not up to you to invite who you want to invite. So if everybody shows up in the majority sections, the speaker will preside. If he's accused, he recuses himself. So they all have to show up. They have to invite everybody to whatever sections they have. They cannot remove the president without doing that. I mean, the speaker of the House of Representatives without doing that. So they still have to invite every elected member to House of Representatives. They can't do it by hiding themselves somewhere in a hotel and say they're having sessions there. It has to be open. They have to invite everybody, and they have to have the numbers. They don't have the numbers. They are not inviting everybody. They are in clear violation of the law. So if they invite everybody, which they have to do, and everybody shows up, they don't have 49, the speaker is still the speaker, he still presides. So they're not going to, they want to be members of different committees. They're not going to have that if the speaker is not removed. You can't usual and exclude elected member of parliament. That's not what the Constitution says. Everybody was elected independently. They didn't elect those people. The Constitution elected. They're entitled to be there. They don't have a choice to say, oh, Mr. Kofa, don't come here. No, it's not up to them. Once Kofa was elected by people of Grand County, he has to show up wherever they have their session. So they have to have a forum where everybody can show up. That's what they need to have to do. They cannot hide themselves somewhere and say we exclude people and move on.
All right, Carlos. Thank you.
Mr. Dishu calling me.
Yeah, inside I cover Mr. Dishu, and then
so Mr. Dishu, you are live. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bond, and thanks to Monk. And I have been listening and following what has been happening in Liberia over this problem of removing the speaker. Now, Monk, what I want you to understand is that everybody has their own opinion over this. We, the citizens, or we as a people, I believe that we shouldn't take side on any one of the. First of all, the people who try to remove the speaker, what are they going to give to Liberian people? Is it in the interest? Secondly, I believe that we as a people should be on the side of the law. And the law says that if you have 47, you carry it. The law says that the minority will stay there until at this moment, the Constitution is backing the minority. So let us look at the angle of where should we stand as a people. We should stand on the side of the Constitution. I don't think I've got any fish to fry in the problem.
Yeah, Mr. Dishu going off and on. I think the network.
Yeah, the people calling back home,
in the Constitution. It's in the Constitution that when there's a dispute, within that dispute, if they have any constitutional part in it to be played, I think you have to go to the Supreme Court.
But Mr. Dishu,
this is a precedented case. Yeah.
But Mr. Dishu, 30 seconds. Possibly lawmakers are also saying that the Supreme Court should stay away and not to interfere into the business.
Yeah, from that particular point, they should point they should put the law on the Constitution that states that the minority is out. You know, so the majority will always say that. From my point, I think the people are trying to back up the 25K. Thank you.
All right.
Maybe I got the last call of your Ben, so you can wrap it up real quick, and then that's it. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. Let me just put over here. But I think I'm going to disagree with Mom about on a lot of few issues. First of all, I believe that Falanchi has he has the law on his side. That's one. And number two, the remedy for facing a false premise is not to allow a false precedent is not to allow another one to happen. So if we are saying something happened in the past that was wrong, we cannot stand up again and allow it to happen. First of all, I am sure the people in the Supreme Court are fully aware, knowing that another government used some malicious means to remove one of their colleagues. They this time are not going to sit there to allow this kind of thing to happen. Because if the Supreme Court allowed this to happen, the next thing will be, it will be coming to them. Because they will say, oh, this first precedent happened before, so we can use the same thing and come and remove another Supreme Court justice. And when the law says that above 37 you can have a quorum, the question is who leads that quorum? The quorum will be led by the speaker. The only time the speaker will not lead any quorum is in his absence, his deputy will take place. It is the same way in as much as Joseph Boakai is in Liberia. Jeremiah Cole cannot lead Liberia as the president. He will always be the vice president. So if you guys want to agree that when the speaker is alive, he's not going anywhere. And the other people just put themselves together and say, oh, this is a quorum. So what happens next time if the other group got quorum, it means that so that person becomes the other teacher speaker? The answer is no. But thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Maybe take it from there.
Yeah, so indeed, Mark, let me say thanks to you and thanks to all of you, the callers, and thanks to all of you. Indeed, you are interested, and I just like all of you, especially those of you who make your own input. Look, Liberia is all we have, and Liberia for all Liberians. So when these topics come on, we want all of you to participate. We want your input, because why? Your little 1 cent or maybe your little or input that you will make will also change things. So Mark, again, I listen, and our callers, I think they are great with all of their same views, even though some of them disagree with us, and that's the beauty. For me, yeah, because respectfully, when you do it, then we're happy, but not to be combative or other way around. But again, Mark, maybe you want to respond to some of the questions that were placed to you. I don't know why you listen.
The thing that happened in Liberia, people believe that when you say the speaker will go, it means you are going against the constitution. No. When you try to remove a public official, whether it's the president, the vice president, or the speaker, they got constitutional requirement. But don't forget, the constitution was written by men who were flawed. The constitution is not a Bible. They just a law. That's why in other countries, they got laws and provision of federal statute that back the constitution. If such and something happen, what do we do next? They got third, fourth, and fifth option. In our case, our constitution is open, and vague, and ambiguous. It's hard to interpret. That is why you see our lawmakers, they even threatening people from the judiciary branch of government, the justice, and say, you know what? Article 3, Article 42, Article 40. It also being because there's something called separation of power. There is something called immunity clause. Why do you think they are quoting? They are quoting the very same constitution. That's why when you study American politics, if you watch people politics, when certain cases go to the Supreme Court, they get people who can go to test the water to see how the Supreme Court is going to interpret that law, because sometimes the laws can be very vague and you don't know. And like what I keep saying, the Supreme Court cannot interpret law that does not exist. That's why you see the lawmaker believe that they got leverage. You guys talking about the Constitution. Why do you think those in the Senate will be recognizing the majority black? Why do you think so? Because they know constitutionally, because your definition of constitution means it requires 49 votes to remove from the takeover. So when you don't get it, it means he cannot be removed. That's a lie. They got so many remedies that they can put into place to remove it. You might call it illegitimate, but that politics. In politics, they get to call political maneuvering. Even when it comes to an impeachment, when they impeach a president from office, it does not mean that he necessarily committed a crime by virtue of the Constitution. But one party that believes that they get certain number, that they get certain level, they can manipulate politically to stay impeach a president. So you guys who talking about the Constitution, no, nobody is calling for lawlessness. We are just saying the idea that the majority black do have more than enough number to call for a quorum. They are saying technically they are the legitimate body of the first branch of government, or the lower house. That's why they are saying, and for the fact that Fonati Kova cannot even assemble or number to call for a quorum, then he's not doing the Liberian people work. The people with the number will say, we are the ones doing the work. And if we are doing the work, automatically we become the legitimate force. That's why you see the Senate is leaning towards the so-called minority bloc. That's why they told you we are not a bloc anymore. Now we are the plenary, because we have the number to conduct the Liberian people business, even if we don't have the number to remove it according to the constitution. But there are other remedies, there are other tools we can use to either force it out, to get out of the way. That's what I'm saying, and I want people to understand here. Nobody is saying it's a constitutional violation.
Yeah, 30 seconds inclusive. Yes, in the 30 seconds inclusive, we gotta go, no time.
Yeah, 3 o'clock sharp on the dot.
Yes, indeed. So I'm saying 30 seconds on you. 30 seconds inclusive.
Well, I know it was a nice show, and thanks. We know that's why the show is all about. You look, we are not legal experts yet. We just putting our minds together. We get responses from the caller. They will disagree, or sometimes we don't need to agree. The only thing is, it cannot be about politics, and there are so many tools in the back that you can use. That's why Einstein once said, politics is more complicated than face it. That's why you think that you need 49. The only way you can move them in 49. No, that's only one way of removing. There are so many ways. And those guys, based on the constitution and based on their own rules, they got other remedies they could apply that will also get him out. So they one shot fit other. If you can get 49, then it means it's a constitutional violation. No, get away from it, because there are so many tools they can use at their disposal, being lawmaker and with the majority bloc. Thank you.
And let me say thanks to all of our viewers. Thanks to the team headed by Sekou Kane of SKTV. Thanks to Steve. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to our dynamic CEO, Honorable Musa Asambedete, our chairman, and that of our newest CEO on the block, Laike Bedete, and O'Neill Soma Rabas, the head of radio and programs. Good night to all of you. Thank you so much for your listening role. Thank you for following us. Also to those of you who are watching us via the internet, follow the SKTV, and want to say thank you so much. Good night. I'm Johnson Maybonkula, alongside with Brazilian Monk of Saros. Check for us on the internet and just press follow, and most definitely you're going to follow all of our activities on the internet. Good night, Monk, and good night to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you for the show. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll do it again.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talk about podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the club. Monitor people who waiting to sell. The blessing that time and the effort are rest. The project is giving us here and the premise of them. The welcome and life we have here.
I lyrical health.
Master.
Clever is who I make on you. I can't ask you if you been you. Say my journey, Tina can I say my jamo. And you say no money, the more I get you. And you love me, the more I get you.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I can't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I can't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I don't get it now ya to money. That's the baby, and I don't get it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the club. Monitor people who waiting to sell. The blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving a real and the premise from best. The world with my life we have here. From Canada, Nima to Losa, from Riverside, River G to Chide, from Grand Crew, Bombing, Cape Mount, Montserrat, San to Backwater, from Maryland, Pongtown to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.